everyone. Welcome back to Lowkey Not a podcast. I'm Amanda, and today I have Marybeth Seiling with me, and she's going to share about her journey of motherhood and how she got involved with the organization MOPs. If you're familiar with it at all, it is a organization basically for women to meet, your kids to play, and just to make great connections, and she'll do a better job at explaining it than me. But to start it off, Marybeth, you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So my name is Marybeth. I live in Beaver. I have a husband that we've been married for almost 14 years, which is crazy. And we have 3 kiddos, 2 boys and a girl, Logan, Joel, and Lara. I've mostly been a stay-at-home mom pretty much since they were born, kind of getting out of that a little bit. I'm still home, but they're all in school, so I've been trying new things.
Yeah. I feel like that's every mom. Different seasons, different phases. Always fun. So can you share a little bit about just like motherhood, like how it's been for you, how you kind of became a mom of 3, just if you've had any struggles, if it's been like all clean sailing, like just how has motherhood been for you?
Yeah. So I always dreamed of being a stay-at-home mom. My mom wasn't really around much when I was a kid. So I remember thinking when I have kids one day, I just want to be at home. I want to be there when they leave in the morning, when they get home. But I didn't always think, I just thought it'd be this perfect world. And of course, it's not every day. But yeah, so my husband and I both agreed that when we were going to have kids, I was just going to kind of stay home. It's been a journey for sure. I always tell everybody that motherhood is the hardest job, but the most rewarding job for me. And so yeah, I loved being home, but as now they're getting a little bit older, they're all in school, I kind of get bored quickly. Yeah. And I'm trying to find what it is that God's calling me to do.
Yeah, I relate to that a lot because my child is only 2 and still home with me, and I still get bored. So, and like, it's crazy, like, I don't know, like navigating. And I feel like too, you have to kind of like redefine yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of moms I've talked to too, every kid you have, it's almost like you're redefining that role and redefining like who you are, because each kid takes almost like a different portion of you.
Yeah.
And a different, like, it's almost like a different characteristic too. So I feel like it is just like kind of loud, but it's fun.
Yeah. They're all yes, fun in all ways.
Yeah.
Hard and challenging, but fun.
Yeah.
It's been my favorite job for sure.
No, I agree. It's definitely like the most fulfilling, but then it's also like the most like exhausting and the one that knocks you down and humbles you the most too.
Yeah, and they forgive you quick.
Yes.
Kids can be screaming at you and then love you.
Yeah,
minutes later.
No, it's very nice to have that.
Not like women in our lives.
Yeah, but that never talk to us again.
Yeah.
But the main reason I really wanted you on here was because I love your story and how you got into the MOPs organization. Like, I keep calling it an organization, it is, but how you got into MOPs when you were a young mom, and kind of now you're leading a group, which is so awesome. So do you want to share first a little bit of like how you heard about it, got involved with it?
So it started when I was pregnant with my oldest, who is now 11. Somebody told us about it, and I was like, because I was working before, and I was like, what am I going to do? Be home by myself? I don't know any other moms. So they told me to start to go to this organization called MOPs at this church, and I didn't build up enough courage to do that until I had my second kid, which was 2 years later. My first MOPs experience, I did not know one single person, and God has changed me a lot, which I'll explain that a little bit. But when I started MOPs, I was super quiet. I wouldn't talk to anyone. And I still remember my first day walking into MOPs. I had double stroller that I didn't know how to open.
Yeah.
I had a 19-month-old, and the baby was like a week old. I was trying to get this double stroller open and to get in there. And I walk in, and I didn't know not anybody. So that was a very terrifying experience for me. But it was good. It was like my first step, I think, that I needed to take to meet friends, because I didn't feel like I had any friends. The first year MOPS was very, it was good. It just, I don't know, I didn't really talk at all. And then that summer, they asked me if I would want to be a leader. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. I didn't talk to anyone this whole year. How do you think I could be a leader? But obviously it was God like preparing my steps, I think, along the way. So I agreed to it, and I said I would. And I think that year of me leading, being a discussion group leader is what they call it, was me stepping out, and you kind of had to make play dates, talk to people, And I got to this season in my life that I told my husband, I was like, if I want to be a good friend, if I want to have good friends, I need to be a good friend.
Yeah.
So
Really
I
good.
worked really hard to make friends
Yeah.
because I didn't have any. And so I won't say it was always easy. There's a lot of people that you would ask them, hey, you want to go? You want to do this? And they would say no, or they can't, or,
Yeah.
But yeah, and so it was a journey, and that was years that I was in that MOPS ministry.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have did without it as a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
Because like my MOPS days were the day we met twice a month, and I looked forward. We got hot breakfast, free childcare, and it was always a great message, Jim.
Yeah.
But that was like my first intro,
Yeah.
I'd say, into MOPS. Yeah.
I think it's so good too, like the free childcare. Like I don't think you realize how much you need it as a mom. Like I feel so bad for the stay-at-home moms that like don't have access to that, or like that don't get that, because it's like you can't even like I even like remember like trying to like, even like for instance, if I didn't wake up early enough and read my Bible before Anaya wakes up,
Yeah.
like sometimes even now that she's 2 and understands a little bit better, and now I can kind of put the TV on like if I need a moment, but it's like even then still it's like mommy this, mommy that, mommy. It's like, and then like I always laugh because Matt's like, how are you not like able to answer my question? I'm like, you don't understand. It takes me 20 minutes to get out of mom mode. Like I have to reboot, reset, and then like get in mom mode, or like get in work mode, or get in podcast. Like I have to get into something. Even like when I get coffee with people, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I literally like all I'm thinking about right now is like my kid that's 2 feet away touching things they shouldn't be touching right now.
The focus, because you're so used to, you have to be watching and listening at all times. But when you go to coffee with an adult, you can actually focus on what people are saying.
Yeah.
Which is hard to do. Yeah.
I love what you said too about like it stretched you.
Yeah.
Because I think that's like really relatable, because I feel like one, God's always stretching us. And whether you believe in God or not, something in your life is always going to be stretching you. We're always like new experiences, new people. This weekend we had at our church a women's retreat. And I was like, I did not know going into it, I didn't know who was going to be there, because obviously like I'm not like on the like leadership team or staff or anything. So I didn't know like who was going to be there. So I kind of had to like go there and not know anybody. Usually Matt's with me when I'm not with Matt. Like I always have somebody with me, I or Matt, to break the ice for me. So it was like something I had to do for myself, which it's been so long because I've always worked with Matt. So it's like I've really never done anything for myself by myself in a really long time. And so going into it, the first night, I was like, I am so uncomfortable. Like driving there, I was like praying so much. I was like, God, like don't let me be uncomfortable. Like don't let me be like just help me. Like just make it a good experience. Like I don't want to not like our church. Like I want to love our church. But I was to the point where I was like, I didn't feel like I was connecting with anybody. We live so far away from everybody. Yeah. It's not like super far, but 35, 40 minutes for a play date is like far.
For sure.
And so I was just like I just want to connect with people who are my age, who want to grow in their walk with God, and who have children, and like they just get it. And so we're there, and the first day, like the first night, like we're eating pizza, and I'm like kind of talking to people, like, you know, just like that awkward like
small talk.
Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm from Beaver County. Like they're all from Pittsburgh. I'm like, I'm from Beaver County. And they're like, oh, you drive so far. Like that was basically the highlight of my conversation the first night. And then we go into like service, and I sat down. And I sat by myself for a second, and the pastor's wife like came over to me, and she was like, "Are you sitting by yourself? Like, let me move you to someone." And I was like, honestly, I said no. I said, I think this is really good for me. I need to sit by myself, like for a second. Like obviously there were so many people there that someone had to sit next to me, and it happened that I knew the lady. She was in my discipleship group, so I like knew her. But that whole weekend, I just felt God speak to me. How am I ever going to use you and grow you if you don't sit in your uncomfortableness?
Yeah.
And so I literally, for the rest of the weekend, I just prayed that, God, like, I want to be uncomfortable all weekend, and I want to learn how to deal with uncomfortableness. Like, I want to, and too, like, how can you help others if you don't know what that feeling feels like? Because I think, like, when you're a new mom, when you do anything new, like, you get a new job, like, you're always going to be uncomfortable. And, like, I think, you know, as Christians, we're called to, like, we're meant to, like, talk to people and like get close to them and like make them feel loved and show them who Christ is. You can't really do that if you're just focused on like your 5 friends, or like your like that one friend you have everywhere you go, or your husband. Like, so for me, the growing in uncomfortable this weekend was so good, and I didn't realize like how much I needed that. And so hearing you say that, I feel like that's such a think that it's hard to do as a mom sometimes because you have your kid with you always.
Yeah, I think that's what I noticed, that a lot of moms, even now, they're like comfortable is their kids are with them because that's all they know. They've just known the mom mode. They don't even know who they are because a lot of moms forget themselves.
Yeah.
And I did that. When your kids are little, it's hard to not do that because they're just always with you.
Yeah.
If you're home with them, I guess. But
yeah.
But either way, like you're always thinking about them. You're always, you can't see yourself outside of being a mom sometimes.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think it's good to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't know I still don't know how I got there that day because that was not.
I think that's so funny. Yeah. I'm still to this day, sometimes I'll tell Matt, like, why it is 2025. Why is baby stuff, like, why has it not changed? Why is it all the same? Why is it not easier to open? I mean, some stuff has gone a lot easier, but even like some of the toys and stuff, I'm like, why are these so difficult to like put together and deal with?
Yeah, I think I was very nervous that day, and then I was sweating, and yeah, it was, but I got in, and
yeah.
But I tell people that now when they first come on their first MOPS days, I was like, also too now I remember what it was like to feel uncomfortable walking, whether it's MOPS or walking into a new friend group, a new gym, a new church, whatever.
Yeah.
Because now my favorite thing, it's how God has changed me so much in 10 years. I love walking into a new place and meeting new people. It's like my favorite thing to do.
That's all.
To meet new friends. So
yeah, it's proof that it's proof that when you like stick to something and you stretch yourself, like it does get easy.
Yeah. Because people don't believe me, but I say all the time that it's God. It was only God that could bring me from one place to a new.
Yes. And like on that, how do you feel like God really like stretched you through MOPS and like leading, and then now like doing, like you're like the main leader now. So like how do you think God's like stretched you and grew you through those seasons?
Yeah. So I did MOPS for, I'm trying to think how many years, maybe 7 years, kind of like in that same organization. And then I kind of feel like, we actually ended during COVID, which is kind of sad. It kind of ended. But all of my friends that I have now, 80% of them are my MOPS friends from back then.
Yeah.
So it's cool. So we stay connected, but I kind of got out of that season, and then the kids got older. And then my church had a MOPS ministry, and they didn't know if it was going to keep going. And I just kept saying, God, I'm over MOPS. My kids are like getting older. And I just really felt like it was not my season anymore. And I know deep down, like I felt like I was a helper at MOPS, but I never truly thought I could be a leader or director, I guess you call it. I don't know. And this one time I was listening to a podcast, and it was about this mom, and she was just kind of telling her story. And as I was listening to her story, it sounded so similar to my childhood and how she didn't have a great mom, and she didn't think she could, I don't know, lead a MOPS ministry, because that's kind of, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so me. Like I never thought I could lead a MOPS ministry and help other moms when I didn't even think I was a good mom, because I didn't have a good mom. And at the end of the whole like podcast, they said she was the MOPS director of like the nationwide one or something. And I was like, okay, God, I get that you want me to run this MOPS ministry. And so that's when I chose to do it at my church and start it there, which was really cool. And I didn't even know what I was doing, but as far as like leading the actual MOPS thing, but, and I just invited some people, and Amanda was there, I think the first day, and I was like, I don't know if we're going to have 5 people or 20 people. And we had, I don't even remember, but a good amount.
That's really good day. Yeah. I was shocked.
And so, I don't know, it worked out.
Yeah. How did you like, can you like go into like a little bit of like the process of like knowing that like you were like that calling that you felt? Like, was it just like a knowing in your heart? Like, was it through like reassurance to other people? Like, how did you deal with like that kind of like tug on your heart to lead it at your church?
Yeah, I think it was just like the Holy Spirit kept putting random people. I think like that's what he does for me. I don't know. Everybody I think hears from God differently. Yeah. But I'll hear different people talk, and and I'm like, oh my gosh, they could so benefit from this kind of ministry. And I think that's where Moms is like a very ministry that I feel very passionate about. And now even so more like just women in general, I think. Yeah. I meet so many moms that just go their day to day and living their everyday life. And I did that too, until one time I realized I needed to start working on myself too. whether like spiritually, physically, emotionally. And I just look at so many moms that they don't do that.
Yeah.
Like when after I had my daughter, a third one, well, 2 boys and a girl, my last kid, I should say. I decided to go to the gym for the first time since having kids, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. I'm out of shape. I can't take, like I just didn't take care of myself for all those years. And it just slowly, I started going to the gym and just like taking better care of myself. And I always tell people with moms, I'm like, if you're not a good, if you don't take care of you, you can't take care of them. Yeah. So I was thinking of the oxygen mask, when you get on the airplane and they say, what do they tell you? Put it on you first.
Yeah.
Before you can help the others. And naturally, as moms, we always want to help everyone else. But if we continually always do that, we won't be here to take care of them.
Yeah.
And I think growing up, my mom just didn't ever take care of herself. And I just had that kind of vision. I looked at that and I was like, I don't want my kids to have to see that kind of person that wasn't able, not that she meant to, she just didn't ever get there. Like she didn't have a good mom. It's like one of those things. So I would just meet people all the time. And I'm like, I really just think the community of MOPs, and just being there when you're doing real life together. I don't know. I do really well whenever I'm struggling with something, going to somebody that has been there, done that, and they can look up. You look up to them and they give you advice. And when I was able to lead it, I was able to look back. We have some young moms, we have some school-age moms, but we're kind of all on the same journey, just different stages of it, different seasons of life.
Yeah. And I think too, like even every person's journey is different. So it's like you might have struggled with something with your first kid.
Yeah.
Sure. And then like another person might not have had that struggle until their third or fourth kid, and you might be like 10 years apart in age, but you still are going through the same thing. Like, because I even remember thinking like when I came to MOPS, I was like, what? Like she asked me to be a leader, and I'm like, my daughter was like, I think she was like 9 months old. I want to say when we started, and I'm like, how am I gonna talk to other moms when my kid's 9 months old? Like, what could I possibly say? But the one thing I really realized was one, like moms don't get to have a conversation with like adults. So like just to be that person that people could just like, I could just listen.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize how much of an important role that, and like even like in like how much I was ministering to people. Because one of the girls in my group was like newer, like she started coming, 2 of them started coming to Champion Life from going to the group. Like they weren't even going to church at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was like they were newer Christians. So it was like me just sitting there and listening and just them having someone to talk to was like, meant so much to them. And then like the other thing too is I found out it was like whether like some of the moms that had 3 kids, it was like they were just now struggling with some of the things I was struggling with my first, and then some of the things they struggled with I had no idea. But I'm sure eventually it was nice for me to hear about, because maybe one day like I will get there, like I will have a kid that has that struggle. But yeah, I think it's like so important to be in a community. And yeah, I don't know.
I think the other thing I loved about MOPS was, even the one I did way back before, was that MOPS is such a great place to get people to come that maybe don't. A lot of them didn't even know it was like a church organization. It's a great way to bring people in. And like I've seen so many people come to know Jesus from MOPS, and you just invite them there, and then they just learn little pieces, because they're not deep messages. The goal of MOPS is just to do community, and we have little life lessons about Jesus and things, bring people in, but then they'll start to like this and get to know it, and then you'll see people come to know Jesus. And I just love how it's not like people don't, I don't know, it's very low key.
Yes, that's my word, low key.
Yeah, low key.
Everything about my life, I always say low key.
So yeah, you bring people in, it's low key, but then they'll keep coming back because they're drawn to it, and they're drawn to something more. They don't know you sometimes even what that is, or what they're missing out, and then it's Jesus. But
and I think it's like super intentional too with your time.
Yeah.
Whereas like you could make it that it was like preaching and like all this stuff, but it's like no, like the time is so intentional.
Yeah.
And that's what's great. On this topic, do you want to like kind of share like the kind of the layout of like what you even do at MOPS?
Oh yeah, sure. So I think all of them are run a little bit different, and even the ones I've done, a lot of them do speakers, some of them do videos. MOPS organization has a whole website, and it's incredible. So you become a MOPS member, and they give you all the curriculum you ever would need. So you can watch videos every single week. The way we kind of run ours is we meet, have food, talk, drink a lot of coffee. And we meet twice a month. So I like one of ours to be like with a speaker if we can, and one maybe via video. We'll throw some craft days in there. But typically the day is you take your kids downstairs and then you hear from a video or speaker, and then we'll break out into little discussion groups. So you're in a little bit of a smaller session and you have a guided questions and you kind of all answer if you'd like. But that's a place where I feel like a lot more people will become more vulnerable through the year as they get to know each other and get a little bit closer. And then we have play dates and mom's night outs. Other like random things, but
yeah, a lot of time to connect and talk and make friends, which I think that's like the most important thing. I think that's probably the reason 90% of people joins mom groups is to
it's not
friends.
super, super organized, actually. Like, we kind of want it to be, like, we have a theme or something for the day, but a lot of it is, we've realized a lot of moms just want to sit and they just need time to talk and I need advice and,
Yeah, and like even just like going over things and I don't know, just like having those people to run ideas off of and like bounce. Like I remember too, like even in our group, we would like talk about like vaccines and like, because there's so much like loudness in the world, especially with social media. Like there's so much like you can listen to and watch and read. But it's like talking to moms who've like actually been through it. Like I remember we had like a long discussion because I had one person in my group who was like very much like they didn't vaccinate their kids, and then there was like another girl in the group who did kind of go with vaccines, and I kind of just went with like whatever my doctor said. So it was like nice for us to all just like have the conversation around it and just bounce ideas off of each other and like hearing people's point of view where you're not being like overwhelmed with like everything. And like too, I always say I love like hearing cliff notes of things. So I don't want to read a whole entire medical journal on something.
Like the other thing we had too is mentor moms. I don't think I talked about them, but they're little bit older age. Like I maybe could be a mentor mom at this point, but they just have kids that they've already been through it. So I love them because they have just wisdom from a lot of us that they have like older kids and they're there to answer the questions that we don't know. And then we have the mop workers in the basement that watch our kids. It's all volunteer based. Which is amazing and incredible.
And it's awesome that your church has people in it that are willing to do that, which is so nice. And I know like a lot of people probably struggle with finding volunteers.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
That's been cool.
So to kind of like pull everything all together, and this will be kind of ending a little bit, is what is one piece of advice that you would give to a new mom who's really struggling?
A new mom, I would tell her to don't forget who she is as a person, because that's something as new moms we all do, and that God called her to be that child's mom for a unique reason. She's the only one that can ever be that little one's mom, and so to not forget who she is in Christ and in her own self, but to always remember each day, like I think I said at the beginning, but each day is a new day, and you're going to have a lot of days that are really long. I still have this board that somebody gave me when my kids were little, and the days are long, but the years are short. And I remember my neighbor that used to live beside me, I would go over and almost cry someday. Like the days just seem so long for like my husband to come home from work. We would walk down to the end of the road and just like wait and wait and wait. It seems so long. And now my oldest is 11. And I'm like, the years are so short. Like he's almost as tall as me. And I'm like, how did these days, but those long days when they're little and you're lonely, find like mops or just neighbors, find people that you can just get coffee with, find, little things that you can do to get yourself out. So as for a new mom, don't get stuck in that you just have to be a mom and you can't have a life outside of it.
There's more to being a mom, and like there's more to your purpose. I think that's really good.
Even though it's an amazing purpose thing that God's given you, but
never want to knock it, but it is a very like it's hard. Like I really struggled adapting to being a mom, because it was just like I wanted it so bad, and then I got so guilty because I was like, why am I struggling?
Yeah.
Like, you wanted this so bad, like you prayed for it. Like I basically changed my career path in college, like my degree, because I was like, I want something that I can
Be a mom.
with. I don't want to go for something medical, then be stuck doing that. And so it is challenging. You have to navigate it, and it always works out okay. Our kids are all going to turn out okay, hopefully.
Yeah. And all the seasons, now that I've been through a lot of seasons of my kids' ages, I always say I love every season, and every season's hard in different ways. You know, when they're babies, like I said, the days are really long and you have to do everything for them, but they're always happy. And besides, crying about, but they don't have like hard things. And now, when my kids are starting to be, I guess you call them tweens. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I think that's what 11-year-olds are. But now it's like real life things, now he can get up and he can do basically everything on his own, but he's like has real struggles at school. Like, I don't know, people are being mean or hard on the bus or, just like real life things. And you're like, oh, this is so hard. It's like the heart of it is so hard.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to talk about, my favorite book on parenting is Shepherding a Child's Heart. It's the best book I've ever read on parenting. And it teaches you so much about their heart. Because I always tell my kids, and like the one thing when you grow up, I just want you to have a heart for Jesus. Yeah. And I think so many parents and moms as us, we get caught up in just like the everyday and telling your kids, no, don't do that. Don't touch this. Don't do that. And when they're 2 and you got to make them survive, like you have to. But as they get older and spending time on like, why can't you do this? Or why do you not do, it's like, you're teaching their heart and learning and helping them understand what the real reason is they can't go here or do that. Or, God calls us to be different, and it's hard as a kid. It's hard as an adult. And that's one thing I always tell my kids is like, I do hard things all the time too, just like you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a great book if you haven't read it.
No, yeah, I think I would definitely a good recommendation. Yeah. I haven't read it, but I've had other people tell me that it's really helped them with like just navigating too, because even like you don't want to constantly be like spanking your kids. Like, yes, like that's definitely like a newer thing of like we are trying to like explain things. And it's like, well, I forget, someone told me in the book, it's like really good at teaching you how like explain things to your kids. Yes. And like how like keeping consistent with like explaining it too, which is really good, because I even found like sometimes like I'm like explaining things and she's just like, why? Yeah. Why? Yeah. Why? I'm like, I don't know, because it is that way. Like the other day we drove by, I forget what, and she was like, what did she say to me? She said, Mommy, like, oh, Mommy, why that car like that? And I was like, what car? Like she pointed to like a van, and I was like, I don't know, it's just a van. And she's like, why big? And I was like, why is it big? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, because so they can put more things in it. And she was like, why? And I was like, I don't know. Some people need more things than us. Like,
they'll keep going with the why.
Yes. And I was like down this rabbit hole. And I was just like, what is happening? Like, and then at the end, I was finally just like, I don't know, Nah. It's just that way because it is that way. Yeah. Like, I was like, some man built it with his hands and was like, this is going to work.
Yeah. They love the why at that age.
Oh my gosh.
But then even as they get older, they'll be, why can't I do this? Why can't I do that?
I know. And it's so easy to just be like, because I said so.
Yes, exactly.
It's so easy.
And that's kind of what I think the whole idea of is like, okay, no, you can't do this, or why you shouldn't have hit your brother, or why, whatever it is. But it's like just spending the time, even when you don't want to, or you don't have the patience to. Yeah. But explaining to them why.
Yeah.
Giving them the answers.
No, for sure.
Not all the time, but most of the time.
Well, I really appreciate you being on here and talking about everything and opening up. I feel like we could talk about so much other things, but I want to make it bearable to listen, because I know I'm like a short, like I lose my attention span very fast. But I really appreciate you being on here and talking about everything and being open and explaining MOPs, because I feel like a lot of people too like don't know the resources they have in their area. And MOPs is a global, or not, is it global?
I think it's global.
Yeah.
I think.
Global organization. I'm pretty sure it's like, I'm pretty sure it's out of the country too. Like I'm pretty sure it is in like other places. Yeah. I thought I saw they have an international.
Yeah, they do too. Yeah. So if you're looking for a MOPS, you just go on MOPS. That's literally, I should have said that at the beginning too. That's how I found MOPS. I just went to mops.com.
Yeah.
Or .org.
I think it's .org.
.org. And I just found one in my area, and that's how I went to it. There's some in most areas, there should be hopefully some.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot more popular, even every year,
Yes.
It's getting popular. So, yeah.
Yeah. Super simple, easy way to get connected with people and not be alone is definitely needed. And even if you're not even if you don't want to do like a mom's organization or like you don't have one that's like super close to you, like find a church. Like usually the churches have a lot of groups, and it's like even if you're not you're like, oh, I don't really like have a relationship with God. It's like that's okay. Like just show up because you can't do it alone. Like it's really, or you're gonna have a really difficult time doing it alone. Like why make it so difficult?
Yeah.
Like why not go the easier route of having people around you who are gonna help you and encourage you through it?
For sure.
But
yeah.
So I appreciate you on here.
Yeah.
And thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you subscribe and we'll see you next week.